Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of RamCenter. As always, I'm your co-host, Spencer McKercher.
And I'm James Jackson, back in action. Feels good to be back.
Thank goodness, man. And no offense to Connor. I love Connor. We both love Connor. He's a great guy. I just miss my co-host.
I missed being here, man. But always shout out to Connor Sodak, our field reporter. Filled in for you once.
Great guy, yep.
Never filled in for me, but I'm back, and I'm ready for a great episode of RamCenter.
Another great episode. We have a lot to cover. Mm-hmm. We've been going back and forth. You know, the spring's not as populated as the fall, but I love reporting about our spring team, especially when they have success.
Yeah, it's a lot of success going on in this episode. No in-studio interview today, so it's going to be a little quicker, but as always, it's going to be great.
Should be going.
Let's go. It's RamCenter.
And it starts right now.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. Welcome to...
And welcome back inside RamCenter Studios. I'm James Jackson, that's Spencer McKercher to my right, and we'll get started. It was a brisk but sunny afternoon as Westchester's softball team welcomed in the Millersville Marauders to the Westchester softball field for a PSAC East Senior Day doubleheader. Westchester swept both ends of the doubleheader, winning Game 1 4-1 before taking Game 2 10-2. We'll focus on the latter victory, an 8-run convincing defeat of Millersville. Prior to first pitch, Westchester honored its core of seniors, Sarah Icolani, Brooke Harner, Kat Hammer, Ashley Flesh, Madison Kelly, and Amanda Hawk. Once the game started, so did Westchester's offense as the ladies jumped out once again to the early lead as Hammer, one of the honorees of the afternoon, singled home a run. In the bottom of the fifth inning is when things got out of hand. Westchester got back to work, first tying the game thanks to an RBI double to left from Melissa Harrion, which scored Bree Garber to even the score at 2-2. Westchester then took the lead when Kelly worked a two-out walk to score Hartman, thus giving the Golden Rams a 3-2 advantage. Sarah Erkalani followed up with a double back to the left center fence, which cleared the bases, scoring Kelly, Maseth, and Harrion to give Westchester a commanding 6-2 lead. The Golden Rams were not done as they struck again a few batters later when Garber singled in Courtney Stump and Erkalani to increase the lead to 8-2. My goodness, Hartman delivered the finishing blow when she doubled to left center, scoring Garber and Sarah Byham to give Westchester the 10-2 lead, which thankfully for Millersville would end the game. Westchester has been dominant at home since the beginning of PSAC play, as in home games, the Golden Rams have outscored their PSAC opponents, get this, Spencer, 53-7 in such games. Overall, Westchester is outscoring its PSAC opponents 64-20 over the course of their first 4 PSAC doubleheaders of the spring. The ladies are back in action Thursday afternoon when the Golden Rams welcome in Goldie Beacom to the friendly confines for a 2:30 p.m. start. My goodness, that was a mouthful, but in short sum, Westchester dominated.
Westchester dominated, you know. And we're going to start out. First team, all names.
Yeah.
You crushed all of those names. The
I did my best. Ladies, if you're watching this eepisode, I really did my best with those names. If I butchered them, tweet at RamCenter. We'll get it figured out.
You did well. But going to the game, Westchester softball team, like we said pre-show, is probably the most slept on our spring sports teams. You know, we don't get a lot of coverage of them. But what, they're 22-9?
22-9 on the season.
22-9 on the season. I mean, you can't...
Undefeated in PSAC play.
Right. Just tough. And the 53-7 just outscoring opponents is outstanding. We're doing it with the bats. We're doing it with the pitching as well, only holding this team 2 runs, you know. Right. It's tough, especially holding a tough Millersville team.
Very good Millersville team.
Exactly, you know, and especially it helps when you got Bree Garber going 2 for 3 with a double from the leadoff spot.
Right.
And we said, I think, going back to the beginning of the spring semester, we were talking, okay, our softball team needs to figure out that groove. You know, we're going to have to switch up lineups. We went down to Florida, didn't play as well as we wanted to, but coming back here, finishing out strong.
Right, and I think the key total wasn't just from the plate, but it's not striking out. 1 total strikeout on the day between both games.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. So it may not be getting hits, but putting the ball in play is really better than nothing. But the one glaring weakness that we can see in this Westchester team moving on, if we're going to point out some things to improve on, team batting average is still only at a a 244. We see the 1 through 5 hitters in the lineup hitting above 300, 6 through 10 hitting below 300. It's not far below 300. We have a 297 in there, a 284, stuff like that. But you can see the drop off in the lineup. The runs come from the top half, the bottom half kind of drops off, and I think that was from the rearranging of the lineup that we said earlier in the season. When things weren't working out, they moved all their hitters to the top, and they get that offense going early. We see it every game. They jump out to early leads.
But that's a good thing. You know, whether the lineup or not, we're still winning games. You know, we're still winning games. We're winning games handily, especially on a great senior day, which I don't know where the time went. It's already senior day for a softball team. Crazy. But going forward, I mean, we're going to bring in not a PSEC foe, just someone else coming in from a different state. It should be an interesting. Hopefully, get these girls continue to stride and continue their success in the season.
It's a long-term goal, right? They're a PSAC championship, a national championship, maybe to go along with the boys from last year. So it's baby steps along the way, and you can afford to do baby steps when you're 22-9. You just got to work out little kinks here and there. They'll get it done.
They'll be fine. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely.
But hey, now we're going to switch over to the men's baseball team. Our 25th ranked defending national champs had a full weekend of baseball this past weekend. Starting with a doubleheader on Thursday afternoon at Shippensburg, and then coming back home to face the Red Raiders on Friday afternoon. After all the dust cleared from a tough 2 days against our PSEC foe, the Golden Rams went 3-1 and now sit at 17-7 on the year and 16-4 in the PSEC. Let's get started. With the action from Thursday at Fairchild Field at Ship, the Golden Rams fell in the opening game of the Twin Bill 6-5 before handily taking Game 2 16-2 to leave Shippensburg with a split. In Game 1, the Rams found themselves trailing 5-2 with an inning to play. A leadoff walk to Joey Coyle and then a base hit by Justin Horn had the tying run step up to the plate. Junior first baseman Jared Malone took a 3-2 pitch over the left field fence for his 4th home run of the season, tying the game at 5. However, in the home half of the inning, the Red Raiders took a 2-out RBI base hit to give them the lead and the victory 6-5. Malone led all batters with 3 hits and 4 ribbies in the game. However, Game 2, much different. After waiting till the end of the first game to get the bats going, the Rams stayed red hot at the plate and going up 14-0 after 4 innings. Nick Ward connected on his team-leading 7th home run of the season. We'll get to him a little later after his 2-run shot to make it 14-0. Then, with the score still at 14-0 in the 4th, Drew Jarmusch doubled in a run, then Zach Sharanko singled to score Jarmusch from the second base and pushed the visitors' advantage to a comfortable 16-0. The Red Raiders then tallied a 2-run bomb late, but no shot at a comeback, and the Rams got the win 16-2. Bill Ford got the win on the mound after only going 4 innings, but allowing no runs on 3 hits and 2 Ks. The Rams then came back home to Serpico Field for Friday's doubleheader. Riding off the momentum from the huge victory on Thursday night, the Golden Rams were locked in 2 very exciting games on Friday afternoon. In Game 1, after going up 1-0 in the first, again Nick Ward connected with yet another dinger, his 8th on the season, and the Rams were up 3-0 after 3. The Red Raiders then scored 4 over the next 2 frames until Malone doubled in a run to tie it at 5. An error by Shippensburg's shortstop ended up being the deciding factor, scoring John Hansen to secure the exciting 6-5 victory. John Fisher came in the final 2 innings to shut it down with no runs on 2 hits and striking out 4, and then he was credited with the win. Man, but what a game back in the end of the doubleheader. Ship jumped out to a 6-0 lead early. After 1.5 innings, Jarmusch then came up in the bottom of the second with a home run to make it 6-2. Jared Malone and Shane Dressler then added on to their home run totals on the season, both going yard in the 3rd and tying the game at 6. Both teams' bats went ice cold then, as neither team could produce any runs to send the game to extras. Then, a guy that we've been talking about all this segment, Drew Jarmusch then stepped up to the plate with a runner on second and 2 outs and delivered a base hit to score the run and give Westchester the 7-6 victory in walk-off fashion. Woo! The Rams then head to Millersville this Friday for yet another 2-day doubleheader with the Marauders. Now, James, unbelievable. Our baseball team, defending national champions. We're coming off a sweep of East Stroudsburg last weekend. Go to facing off with Ship, a pretty good team, especially this season. Coming away 3-1. What going forward? What do we got?
We gotta. I don't know if it's combined pitching or defense. Something's got to change because we can win all the games we want. If we keep winning games in double digits and high single digits, it's only going to tire ourselves out.
Right.
That's not something that a number 25 ranked team, which by the way we both know, let's not sugarcoat it, is very low and not where the Rams want to be, especially on a redemption tour, on a repeat season that we're trying to do as national champions.
Starting season at second as well.
Yeah, so that's not where we want to be, and we're definitely not want to be, this way with having to contend in these games with so many runs and having to come back from behind in many of these games.
Right.
And I'm glad that the hitting is there. I'm glad the clutch hitting is there.
Nick Ward, Drew Ramirez, all those guys, man, they've been having fantastic seasons.
And I'm so glad that they're able to step up to the plate and do that. To me, it comes down to you got to cut down the runs from the opposite team. Whether you cut down on your starters going deep, which, by the way, their starters don't go deep in the games.
No, that's the thing. I mean, our relievers are coming in after 3-4 innings,
Yeah.
and then they're coming in to shut it down.
Mm-hmm. So it's the bleeding's got to stop early. I'm not sure where it has to come from.
Agreed. But, just looking at this team and looking at, I think we're starting to ride this momentum. 6-1 over the last few weekends. We just came out from Florida 5-1. I think we're clicking that stride. We just got to find it. Like you said, we can't be coming back at these games. I want us to jump out to those 14-0 leads early, secure. It doesn't even have to be, like you said, double-digit runs. If we get up 6, 7, we score those runs early, we're going to be fine. It just got to be pitching, and we got to stay focused on accomplishing the goal at hand, and that's going back to back.
Yeah, it really, when you talk about cutting runs down, it first starts on the mound. You can't start anywhere else. You look at the box score, it's not like we're having 3 or 4 error games. We're having 1, nothing error games. Defense is kind of sharp. It's just, teams are hitting the ball well against Westchester. So it's got to start right there. It's got to start from the mound. People really got to hone in.
I think so.
By the way, shout out to Westchester alum Joey Wendell of the Tampa Bay Rays. Got his first home run in the big leagues.
Good for him, man. It's awesome. And like I said, he finally has a home now. He was in Oakland, traveling, from the minors to the majors. Now in Tampa, starting at second base, made a great play on defense.
Yeah, sort of top 10 play, yeah.
Unbelievable. Good for him.
Yeah, what do we call that?
That's Ram Excellence.
All over the place, all over the place. No in-studio interview today, which means we jump right into the next segment as Westchester's men's track and field team, unfortunately, was not able to take advantage of the home turf as they took third place in a WCU quad meet with a score of 80 points on March 31st inside John A. Farrell Stadium. Joey Hawkins took first place, though, in the 110-meter hurdles with a final time of 15.35 seconds. Josh Coakley took second in the 1,500-meter run with a time of 3 minutes and 59 seconds, and Greg Grunwald took second in the 5,000-meter with a time of 15 minutes, 35 seconds. For the field, we check in our national competitor from winter track, Justice Norman, as he gets his spring season kicked off, first in the long jump with a distance of 23 feet and 3 inches. DeAndrew Gersay took first in the triple jump with a distance of 46 and 8. Greg Raudenbush took second in the shot put with a distance of 51 feet and 3 inches. Matt Hook took second in the javelin with a distance of 194 and 8 inches and hit an NCAA provisional mark. Westchester also finished another event ranked 27th out of 41 teams competing ahead of a number of Division I programs. That was this past Saturday. Top performer Greg Raudenbosch, who finished 6th in the discus with an impressive mark of 136 feet and 11 inches. Now, Spencer, this is only Westchester's second meet of the season. A lot of time, much improvement, but we're finishing third in a quad meet, so that's 3 out of 4, and then 27th out of 41. That's middle of the pack. We didn't have the most impressive men's track season last year, but we looked to build. We had a very young team last year, men's and women's track, so it's experienced now. So we're going to try to get off on a better foot as we move forward in the spring season.
That, and then we look back at the winter. We started reporting on the winter with the PSAC championships. We did well. We did pretty well. So I think going forward, especially for the spring, lots of time. I mean, plus it's been cold. That's never helping runners, throwers, anything. Especially in the cold weather, that tightens everything up.
Right.
Going forward, I think we'll be fine. Especially when we keep having our home track meets, we'll be great.
It's good to see that Justice Norman is picking up from where he left off. But a shout out to his competitor, his teammate. Another Ram finished ahead of him. So now Justice got to amp it up a little bit.
Just a little bit. But national competitor, we've had him in studio interview.
Yeah,
He's a great guy. But it's going to be interesting to see those two battle for the rest of the season.
And they went up against in that quad meet a Kutztown track team who that is a remarkable track program.
Very good track
One of my good friends runs the 4x1 relay, and I can tell you, everyone on that team is geared in and focused. They come to win.
Right.
So
And hey, I think going forward we'll be fine.
we'll be fine.
But Jay, hey, I'm telling you this, man. This hasn't gotten old yet, and it won't get old. Our women's lax team is very, very good. 11-0. 11-0, James Jackson.
Heard you.
6-0 in the PSAC, and I don't see this train slowing down anytime soon. We'll start with their matchup against PSAC rival Kutztown. The Lady Rams, led by Tatum Allman and Emily Scholes, both registering a hat trick, and Sammy Barnett having 4 points and 4 draw controls, and we came away with a 14-5 victory. Barnett netted a pair of tallies 3 minutes apart to make the score 7-1 with 5:35 to play in the first half. Scholes then scored all 3 of her goals back to back to make it 12-4, and then Altman scoring twice in the last minute of the game to make it 14-5. Westchester put 28 of their 34 shots on target, and Julian Clemens made 6 saves in the first half and got the win, making her 6-0 in the cage this season. Then, this past Saturday, the Lady Rams came back home and got a dominating 20-3 win over Gannon. The 12th ranked Lady Rams stayed red hot, with 11 different players scoring a goal in the contest, led by a 4-goal performance by, again, Tatum Altman, and a historic 3-goal performance from Sammy Barnett, who registered her 100th career goal. After Gannon tied it at 1, our Lady Rams went on a 9-0 scoring run and led 14-2 at the half. Second half, much of the same, and not much to say. Looking at the stat sheet, the game wasn't close at all. Westchester's defense held Gannon to only 6 shots, the fewest they allowed in a game since they allowed 5 against Holy Family a year ago. Our defense even turned to offense when sophomore defender Molly Reinhardt scored her first career goal after an interception from Gannon's goalie on a clearance. The Lady Rams forced 24 turnovers and won the ground ball battle 31-11. Clemens again got yet another win, improving to 7-0 on the year. And then the squad takes a trip to Ship this coming Wednesday for their next game. Dude, it's crazy. I've been reporting with this women's lax team every week so far, and it just doesn't get old. 11-0, Ram Excellence. We're 12th in the nation. We're going to keep on climbing that ladder.
We got nowhere to go but up. I don't see us going down anytime soon. And again, we got to talk about the flexibility in goal because I feel like we can never hit that, enough. Martins came in the second half again, held it down again.
Right.
So it's what do we talk about? Offense, defense, in the net. We give it to you all 3 ways.
Exactly, and I think it's good to finally have Clemens starting because, the first 3 or 4 games, it was like, okay, do we want Martin starting? And then we're going to pull Martin's, halfway through the first half, then put Clemens in, and then, heck, we'll start Clemens, and then you bring in Martin's, with 2 minutes to go in the second half. But I think Martino then finally has found that stride of starting Clemens, who's now got her 7th win on the season, and then bringing in Martins for the end. It's fantastic.
It's got to be the balanced attack, too, that we have to focus on. Because if you have Sammy Barnett at the top, and then you have Tatum Altman and then Emily Scholes on the outsides. And it's so much force for an opposing defense. And when your defense is that good, it allows your offense to flourish so much more because you don't have to worry about playing from behind. Our attackers don't play with any sort of pressure to when we get the ball into the opposing team's zone that it's got to go in the net because they know our defense has got them. But our offense and defense plays both ways. You noted that we won the ground ball matchup in the second game, 31-11. That's not just defense. That's offense too, playing a pivotal role in those parts.
Picking up huge ground balls, and it's huge. I mean, especially we're putting 28 of our 34 shots on goal. We're putting so much pressure on these defending goaltenders. And going back to our attackers and Sammy Barnett, it's crazy to think about 100 goals, man. It's through her 4 seasons, she's a senior. Through those 4 seasons, 100 goals. It's insane. It's royalty, really, in the lax world.
Yeah, it really is. She's going to go up again. Go in the books as one of the most recognized Westchester Golden Rams in terms of women's lax, and she absolutely should.
Right.
She's the leader of this team. But it's funny because once seniors like Sammy Barnett leave next season, I don't see anything different happening next season. They're so deep in this roster. From seniors to freshmen. The Golden Rams lax team is going to be good for a long time.
Exactly, especially when you look at the balanced attack. I mean, you have Altman, you have Scholes, you have Barnett. Like they said, they'll key on Barnett, but okay, then Altman and Scholes will go drop 5 goals apiece then on you. And it's crazy. Great to see this women's lacrosse team. Hopefully next week we'll continue this win streak. Tough matchup against Ship, but I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, tough matchup against Ship, and then we're going to go deep into PSAC. And we know the PSAC is very, very, very good in women's lax.
Right.
So it's not going to get easier, but they're ready. They're geared up and they're ready to go.
Let's make it 12-0 next week.
Absolutely. And now we send it over to Reggie, who's standing by with our pro sports segment. All yours, Reg.
Hello, RamCenter fans, and welcome to another pro sports update. The Masters came to a close this past Sunday, with Patrick Reed putting on that stylish green jacket. He stroked an amazing 15 underscore, just 3 strokes off the course record by Tiger Woods in 1997 and Jordan Spieth in 2015. As we transition from the course to the field, the NFL draft is just 17 days away. According to multiple sources, it is likely that a quarterback will be selected first overall by the Cleveland Browns. But first, let's take a nostalgic trip back to the previous 4 quarterbacks they've selected with their first pick: Johnny Manziel, Brandon Weeden, Brady Quinn, and the unforgettable Tim Couch in 1999. Hopefully the football gods bless the Browns this year, as they are projected to make a playoff run. Somewhat in the same fashion, the Philadelphia 76ers haven't made one in the last 6 seasons. Tomorrow night, they are looking for their 15th straight win as they take on the Atlanta Hawks. They're sitting pretty in the East right now with the number 3 seed. You could call me crazy if you want, but with Uncle Drew going down for the Celtics, the Sixers might be able to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals with Ben Simmons leading the herd. I'm Reggie Dudley with this segment in Pro Sports. Now over to Taylor Christensen for This Day in Sports.
What is happening, Rams? Taylor Christensen coming back at you with another edition of This Day in Sports. The 2018 Stanley Cup playoffs are set to begin this Wednesday, so it's only fitting to revisit one of the greatest playoff achievements in the history of the game. On April 9, 1987, Wayne Gretzky, the Great One, tallied 1 goal and 6 assists for 7 points in Game 2 of the Edmonton Oilers' first-round series against the Los Angeles Kings. In doing so, Gretzky passed Montreal Canadiens legend Jean Beliveau as the NHL's all-time leading playoff scorer with 177 points. Gretzky would go on to finish his career with an astounding 382 points in 208 playoff games, notching yet another record under his belt that will never be broken. Also on this day, in 1989, legendary outfielder Rickey Henderson registered the 800th stolen base of his career in a Yankees 4-3 loss to the Cleveland Indians. This was an incredible feat, as Henderson achieved such a gaudy number in just his age 30 season. Henderson went on to play until he was 44, and retired after the 2003 season as Major League Baseball's all-time leader in stolen bases with an absolutely ludicrous total of 1,406. The numbers speak for themselves when you consider the fact that Lou Brock, who is second all-time, had 938 stolen bases in his career. Seems to me that April 9th is one hell of a date for the all-timers. Well, that's all from me. I'm Taylor Christensen for This Day in Sports. Now over to Tyler Jefferson with Top Plays.
What's up, Rams? Tyler Jefferson here with this week's Top Plays. We start off with Mavs rookie Dennis Smith Jr. delivering himself a bounce pass alley-oop on a fast break. Smith continues to put on a show throughout his rookie season and continues to show his amazing jumping ability. Number 4, Sixers rookie Ben Simmons executes a beautiful between-the-legs crossover and faked out 2 Cavaliers defenders to go through the lane and throw down one of his many dunks in a winning triple-double performance against LeBron James and the Cavaliers to clinch the 3rd seed in this year's playoffs. At number 3, in what was a battle between LeBron James and Ben Simmons, LeBron James responded with a monstrous dunk of his own over Ersan Ilyasova. LeBron has been on a tear lately, dunking over anyone that seems to jump in his way. With our top 2 players of the week come from the MLB since their season recently just started. At number 2, our Phillies were able to dominate in a blowout win over the Marlins thanks to Maikel Franco, who started the scoring early with a grand slam in the bottom of the 1st inning. Phillies had 2 grand slams this evening on their way to a 20-1 victory. our top player of the week comes from San Francisco Giants, Andrew McCutchen, as he was able to cap off a career night with his first home run with the San Francisco Giants being a walk-off home run against the LA Dodgers. This was one of his 6 hits of the night, and it couldn't have come at a better time. That concludes this week's top plays. James and Spencer, back to you.
Thanks, Ty. Man, another great top plays. I'm so proud of you. Keep doing your thing. Andrew McCutchen, man, is he back? Did he ever leave?
Did he leave is the question. No, he didn't leave. Did he take a step back? I got our field reporter, Taylor Christensen, behind the camera nodding yes, he did leave. I don't know if he left. He did take a step back. He wasn't the McCutchen we were used to. And it's crazy to think all these years in a Pirates uniform, never had a 6-hit game. Took him 6 games to get a 6-hit game.
Crazy.
In a Giants uniform, plus the walk-off. What an entrance to the Bay, am I right?
And it's an even year. It's an even year now.
Don't even get me started on the even
It kind
years.
of stopped a little bit, but hey, we'll see about the Giants and forward. Good for Kutch, though. It's always good to see. I've always respected him.
I mean, you say the even year, and then the Giants went out and got Andrew McCutchen. They got Evan Longoria. They got stacked up with baseball players, proven baseball players and winners.
Veterans.
That's scary.
That's
very scary.
Well, hey, that's all the time we have for this episode of RamCenter. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WCU RamCenter. We will be talking a lot about the Make-A-Wish Foundation coming up here in the next few weeks. And also remember to smack that like button on our Facebook page. As always, I'm your man, Spencer McCurchin.
And I'm James Jackson. Stay Golden Dub C. We'll see you right here again next week.
Welcome to